John, Lindsay, it's been a long time coming. I'm excited about today. So I'm curious. Okay, first question. 90 days, 60 days, 90 days, 3 months before you got into real estate, John, what were you doing? What were you thinking? What business were you in?
I was in a supermarket business, like old supermarkets, like not like these big ones today, but like in in the city, there's little, like a 5,000 square foot family market that I took over from family.
Okay. So was it a family member or a friend or someone that introduced you to real estate, and it kind of happened naturally?
I always kind of wanted to do. I wanted to do sales. I liked sales. So I was in. I got a long story. So I was in. I grew up in this supermarket business with my family, working with my parents, and when I was younger, I was into karate. I went back to karate, got my black belt, then I went to karate school. It looked like it was going to be profitable, so I got into that. I did that for a while. I had a partnership, didn't work out. I was young. My partner was older at the time, so we had butt heads a lot. He had family and bills. I was single.
Who
I was
could
19.
beat who up? Karate.
We only faced each other in a tournament one time, and I won. So.
Now I understand, Lindsay.
And the place closed the year after I left. It was the most successful East Coast before that. But I don't know.
Culture matters.
We had difference of opinion on things. And,
wow, that's a wild transition. So you were, karate. The black belt. That's a higher. I mean, I'm pretty much a layman.
Yeah, it's
So you worked on that consistently.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I was 15. Yeah. When I was in it originally, and I kind of got, I got into girls, and so I got out of it for a while. Then when I had the store, I was living on my own. I wanted to do it. One of the things I wanted to accomplish was go back and get it. So I went back and got it. And then I just saw that it's a service business, so obviously they're more profitable. I'm in a grocery business now, where carting money back and forth to the bank and not keeping any of it.
Yeah.
The supermarket, it was a dying business because these big stores started to come in.
Really?
And then you were competing with that, so it was hard to survive in that business.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I got into that for a little while. My parents didn't want to keep it while I wasn't there. It was hard for them to try to run it without. You have to run those businesses, especially in the city, with family members or people that you trust, because otherwise you're married to it. Yeah. So with me being gone, my parents getting older, it was weighing on them. My dad wanted to eventually start to phase out and retire, and so he was trying to sell it. So as he was trying to sell it, it was harder to do. He kept dropping the price, getting more realistic on the terms. And when he was first trying to do that, it was way out of reach. But between him, the price going down and the terms going down, getting easier, and then me having a problem with my partner there, I went back to it and took that back over.
Okay.
And then I ran that for a while, and it was just, like I said, it was phasing out over the years. I didn't like it, but I did like the sales. When I had the karate school, I liked the signing the contracts and doing that, so I always wanted to get back into sales.
Like brokering relationships.
Yeah, I always wanted to get back into sales. And real estate is, I did have a home, bills, and things like that, so I had to get something that would get, I could generate money quick.
So you're running this supermarket type or, grocery store type operation, and you start taking your real estate test?
Yeah.
At some point in time?
Yeah, I went to school and took it.
What was the first 90 days like, or the first year? Was it part-time while you worked at the store?
No, I kind of oversee. I had a friend that was working for me that was kind of managing it for me while I was there, so I was able to kind of step away. I jumped in with real estate with both feet. Yeah, I went on someone's team. I worked as a team member, but I kind of he didn't really want to do it. I could tell. I kind of chased him down to get on his team.
Oh, really?
I didn't know it being at Remax. You had a bill, to pay every month and expenses.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's a luxury brand.
I'm like, listen, I'm going to come in and work for you, make you a bunch of money. He's like, yeah. But I was also buying a house from the same time, so I think he just had to listen to me. I just kept chasing him down for it. So I got on his team, but I started generating my own lead. I started doing business.
What was the first thing that you did? I mean, 90% of realtors aren't in the business within the first 2 years. They may not know what to do in the beginning. What did you do?
I used to run ads. I used to run classified ads. They're like small ads, just kind of with little plugs in them to try to get calls from buyers. And the market was strong. It was a strong seller's market then.
Was it early 2000s? Yeah. 2002?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a strong seller's market then. So a lot of big agents, they pretty much wanted listings. They were going after listings. Nobody was going after buyers because it was hard because you put offers in and you didn't get your offers accepted.
You went quick.
right now, that's the pet peeve. It's annoying. You
Yeah.
know, it's a problem. You know, you go out, you show houses, you find the house, it's under contract. You know, 18 years in is annoying, but when you're brand new, you don't care because it's not like real work. Like I'm not, you know, going Easter Sunday, my freezer's broken down, and I'm putting $2,000 worth of groceries in the, you know.
It was a different environment, so you were excited to work extra hours?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So it wasn't, you know, and I started doing pretty well. I was working buyers. I just, you know, was crushing it with buyers.
What did the work week look like? Was it Monday through Sunday? It was...
Yeah, it's Sunday through Sunday. It was every day, all night. Every day. We'd go out 9, 10 o'clock. The phone would call, ring, and, you know, whatever. I was on there. Yeah, sold a house on Christmas Day one time.
Christmas Day. Now, I've had the luxury of hearing this story because of, you know, our lunch endeavor is crazy. But you two met in a very interesting time. You were in the business. You were crushing it, putting your ads, right, Lindsay? And then you came into the mix about when? Was that 2004?
2007.
2007. So, John, you had about 5 years of consistency.
It felt like a lot more.
Consistency.
Yeah. I started getting. We got busier.
So how did that transpire? You saw an ad for you were hiring.
She was the.
I was his advertising rep.
For the Courier Post.
For the Courier
She
Post.
ran the. For all Remax, really.
I was the Remax girl for advertising.
So what got you into the advertising business, Lindsay? You like, was that something that you always thought you were going to get into, like from school and?
Well, I have my BA in PR, and then I minored in advertising, and I owned an event planning company right out of college.
Wow.
And
Entrepreneurial, just like.
I tried anyway.
You guys.
I worked retail from 16 to 21, I guess, so to speak. So I was, you know, to be able to not have to work weekends was such a luxury. So that's why I took the job at the Courier Post. I was there for about 4 months, and they created this whole new position, and I got a promotion.
Wow.
And became this advertising rep for Remax.
So they created a new position because of some of the things that you were implementing?
No, not really. I was still brand new. I wasn't really doing a whole lot. I was kind of bored to tell you the truth. So they just had me start doing all these different things. I was doing some real estate advertising. I was doing the wedding announcements. I was doing the church page, like for advertising. And then our editor, was it our editor, I think? Yeah, he left and went to a different paper, and the editor from North Jersey came down and became our editor. And up in North Jersey at the time, Remax had such a presence in print advertising for the paper, he didn't understand why we didn't have it down here. So January 1st of 2007 is when I started that position.
And now, with that position, you're calling on Remax?
So they
individuals?
did my first project was I had to do an ad for all of the Remax agents that won the Circle of Excellence.
Okay.
So I just did like a random, just blast email. This is
And
what
John
you need.
won it?
No. So this is what John did. This is what John did. And I gave them plenty of time to respond. They had plenty of time to call me with the payment information, plenty of time to give me their picture. The day I send it down to print, he calls that he wants to be in it. And this is the person I've been calling and calling
you've been
and
following
calling, and he's never calling me back. So I bumped someone out, and I let him be in it.
Was this an act of fate? What is going on?
Yeah.
So you made your way into the
Remax
circle.
I was just annoyed that this was the one person that never called me back.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. So that paper, Remax, the agents, you get all your calls direct. So the agents would run ads and spend money.
Okay.
That's why their print presence was so big because, if you ran an ad, the calls came right to you.
Yeah.
You got the call. So other companies, they do floor time, and the company would run the ads, I was, again, I was in the supermarket business. We'd buy, Coca-Cola for 90 cents and sell it for 99. So if I put an ad in the paper for $200 and I'd get maybe a $3,000 commission out of it, it was like a no-brainer. So I ran ads like crazy. I spent
You were very
5,000-6,000.
invested in this.
Yeah, I spent a ton on ads. But I used to always try to call her paper for years because I would see the ads in there, and then I would call up, and the girl that was there at the time, she just couldn't sell it to me. But I'd be like annoyed because I'm like, I see this person running the ads, so it's got to be working.
Yeah.
And I'm doing more business. So why are they in there? Like why? But I want to be in the paper. But the lady would just pretty much talk me out of it every time I called. She just didn't sell it right. It was like,
wow.
She's like, oh, it's $400. It was a picture. It was called Hot Properties, and it was one picture of a house. She's like, it was $400 a week. I'm like, well, I get a whole page in the Homes Living magazine for $400, and it lasts all month.
No,
and
it's
two-page cover.
$395 a month.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
you
But it was
still
one.
got it.
But it was one house. But here, so I called later like, $395 for one house. This just doesn't make any sense, So then, she was calling, but the pay. I was like, I did that thing with the paper. That's all a dance. Like it's just a new sales rep. Now I'm going to call somebody the same thing. I don't want it.
You were jaded.
Yeah, I was jaded. So then I get but they did have this Circle of Excellence thing, and I just didn't do it. Whatever, it didn't get done. So I sent it to her, and I'm waiting for I want to pass the deadline. Blah, blah, blah. But she didn't. She's like, no, I can squeeze it in. It's like, all right, cool. This is the kind of person I can work with. So I started talking to her on the phone. I said, let me ask you something about this thing. She goes, oh no, it's not just that. You're also in this page of this paper. It comes with a combination for the $395. You can change that house every week. All right, well that's a whole nother animal. I said, can you come down to the office and show me the stuff that you have? And stuff. So she came down to the office, and we went over it. We hit it off, and she sent me I bought like $5,000 of ads. By the way,
Yeah, that's a serious upsell.
Right off the
Display ads, Hot
She's good.
Properties.
yeah, she was great. So. And really, this value was always there. It's a person that wasn't able to sell it to me. They didn't.
Wow.
They didn't. I think they just wanted to get me off the phone and whatever. I don't know. So. I ended up, we ran some ads in there and stuff like that, and we started talking, and the same thing. So, like, my ad, the deadline would be due, like, like Tuesday or whatever. I was like, just, don't even run it. Like, but, it sells. She's like, listen, if you just give me the addresses, I'll look them up in the MLS. They had somebody there that had a license, and she's like, and I'll put the things in. Like, all right, well, this girl knows how to work with me. She knows how to sell me stuff, And
So I'm at lunch. I'm like, well, I need your ad. If you just give me the address, I'll figure
You
it
were
out.
persistent.
Yeah. Well, she knew I'd buy it if I had, the thing was, for me, it was the time at the time.
Yeah.
And then I kind of needed an assistant again. I went through two types of assistants. One was like somebody I knew personally that just never worked out. They had no experience whatsoever, and it's like, it was hard to get rid of. And then I hired somebody that supposedly had all this experience came from this really top producing agent. And that's what they worked for them. I could work, but and then they worked for me. They misspelled stuff. Like it was horrible. And then I don't have an advanced education. But I said, if I'm checking your spelling and you got a college degree, this is bad. So so I got rid of that. So I was jaded about hiring assistants. I was like dead set against it. But then I would talk to her friend. I'm like, this girl's like so motivated, right? I said, maybe I got. And I was at the time. College graduates in general were kind of, it used to be like they demanded a lot of money, like higher salaries. And then I saw something on TV where they're saying all these college students are having a hard time getting work and they're taking. So I was doing the math, I'm like, I don't know what they're paying over there, but I could probably swing that. So if I could find somebody like her, just out of college, and motivated, wants to, like her, thinks, outside the box, and gets things done. And I put an ad basically in the paper based on her personality. I had her run it.
I read it. I was like,
I said, look, she goes, this sounds like a good position. I said, you should apply for it.
That's the best way to sell.
Yeah, you should apply.
and I did.
Yeah. She ran the ad. She applied for it. She was the best candidate by far. Right?
And then I didn't hear from her for 2 weeks.
I let her run. I got like maybe 100 responses.
You got 100 responses?
At least. Right? Yeah.
That's a good ad.
Yeah. A bunch of responses. So I'm going through the things. So I'm also like, all right, I just like this girl because I don't want to.
Well, we don't know. Maybe that was it.
I like her so much. Like maybe I should just make this a business decision and check, the ad, which I did. I kept going back to it, but I'm like, I make sure I'm doing the right thing here because I wasn't trying to,
You only married one of them. The 100 people.
Yeah, I only married one of those 100 people, correct.
So you made the right decision.
I 100% made the right decision. I did that anyway. But I was, at the time, I was just making sure I wasn't just all caught up in emotion and excitement of, a new person, because I really liked her on all levels before. No, not even, We weren't even on a romantic level at that point. I just liked her. But I was like, all right. So, I go and she calls. I'm like, yeah, listen, everything's perfect. Every time I talk to her, I get more into it. And she basically calls, like, are you going to give it to me or not? Are you going to give me a job or not? And I was also like, I said, well, listen, this assistant thing, I don't have a great history with this. I don't get along with everybody. It might not work out. And I don't want you leaving a job as career post. You have benefits. It's good. She was so happy and motivated. I don't want to sit there and come, and if it doesn't work out, she's like, I don't care. I don't care. I want it. I was like, all right, let's do it. I appreciate the balls she had, actually, to say that to me, but, for lack of a better word.
Well, Lindsay, you believed in John.
Yes.
Like in his, what was specifically, is it work ethic? What would you say?
Well, what first drove me to him was he was a name on my list, but then I would constantly see his name everywhere. So it was like, it was irking me that he was not calling me back. So I just continued to keep calling and calling and calling, and then when he finally did, I was able to connect with him, and then I knew once I did, I would be able to, explain the benefits of working with me and working with the paper. And
now that company that you were with, I don't know, maybe it was a larger company or had growth opportunities. You said, I'm going to work, with this individual who is everywhere, who is crushing it in real estate. Was there a specific, also a real estate, you had interest in the real estate business?
Yeah, I had thought about getting my license before, right when I had graduated from school. I thought maybe I could, get into real estate because, as he said, getting a job right out of college was very difficult. I applied to several companies within the field that I, had my degree in, and just nothing panned out. And I didn't want to be in retail for the rest of my life, so that's why I ended up just taking the job with the courier. And once we started working together, the things that they had promised me were not happening.
Wow, really?
So this came up at the perfect time because I was going to leave anyway. So I was like, hire me or I'm moving.
So it's the culture there.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
things were promised, they weren't delivered.
Yes, and it was on a consistent basis. I had one person who was my supervisor who was great. But I could tell she felt bad, and when I did leave, she totally understood why. It was my supervisor above her that was just talked out both sides of her mouth.
She didn't get paid her bonuses on the stuff that she sold me either.
Yeah, I sent them all this stuff, and I never got my bonus.
all those things. They were trying to get me for years to get me to run in there. And
I finally land them. I land, the unicorn.
The unicorn. There you go.
And, I don't even get compensated for it. It was very upsetting.
Wow. Well, it's interesting. Life, a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
it's there's a life lesson there in some way, 100%. Somehow. Yeah. I don't know. If only the silver lining. Here we are today. So, it was 2008, 2000. The market around that time was pretty volatile. Right?
Yes, I decided to get my license in 2008, right when the market crashed.
Tanked as soon as we.
So how was that?
Lindsay killed the market.
I killed the market.
I was like, hey, you brought that with you? Thanks.
You killed the market.
Literally a great answer she gave. I think she came in March. I think.
I came to work here in April of 2007. I got my license in March of 2008, and I think it crashed a month later.
I remember, the big banks pulled all their warehouse lines from all the lenders. They couldn't lend anymore. Really jacked
Were you
up.
already involved in the REO side prior to that, or was that the inception?
That was
extremely successful.
That's really when it started.
That's when it started right after that, because the short sales were big then. Right? Everybody was doing short sales like crazy.
Yeah.
That was and a lot of the agents left the business. It got really bad. That was a tough time. And I had just bought my office at the time, so I owned that Remax office at the time.
Wow. Okay.
I just bought it before she came to work for me. It was like a mess. I couldn't run it all myself. I brought her in to help me, and then it tanked, and we had expanded quick after I came. It was like a 20 agent office when I took it over, and then we grew it to almost 100.
Wow.
Real fast, but then now I have 100 of expenses, and this type of crash never happened before. So I kept thinking, all right, it's going to come around. This is temporary, and I'm holding expenses. And so we got really jammed in there fast, and then we were just kind of, everybody's doing short sales, but short sales were tough to get done. Mm-hmm. They were long. I mean, it was a 6 month, a year to close some of those transactions, and it wasn't a lot. But I started to see, like, again, I'm thinking, a lot of these ones are going to go to REO eventually. And now, since it was slow, I'm like, I'm going to start trying to just get into that business and learn about it. And then I just learned about it, looked into it.
So for people that don't know REO, like, how do you break that down for someone that's a layman, right, watching this?
Yeah, it's real estate owned by a banker. That's what it stands for. So real estate owned by a bank or a financial institution or corporate entity. So the bank foreclosures that were coming back, the short sales that weren't getting done. There was a lot of people trying to do short sales and trying to do, people that were just stuck in their homes. I knew they were eventually going to turn over. And so, when that was, I knew there would be a lot of work down the road in that business. I figured it would be anyway. So I started to get into that. While it was still slow, I would go into the office. I'm like, I'm here, but there's nothing happening. There's no sales.
So around that time, the residential market's just like crumbling. There's this opportunity to learn a new niche with the REO.
It's hard to do
you
both.
Jumped in.
It's hard to do both. So it's hard to try to do that. If you're doing retail on any kind of consistent level, it's real hard to kind of try to merge that in because it's time consuming. And you have to put systems in place that, because it's good because it's steady work. It's not really demanding on nights and weekends. There's no emotional attachment, which in real estate, that can get tough sometimes. You're dealing with somebody, you like the people, and they have a problem, and you can't fix it right at the moment, and you're upset, it weighs on you. You don't have any of that, which is good.
With the REO.
Yeah, and it's consistent work. So if you make, one bank client happy, they can send you 5-6 deals a year, So if you have, 10, 20, you can have consistent business.
You're building relationship with banks.
Yeah, and then you get leads coming from it, investor buyers and things like that, and you can expand on it. But it's hard to build that while you're still doing retail. But it was dead in retail at the time, so that's why I decided.
So you jumped all in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, was it 7 days a week?
In the beginning, probably close. Yeah, probably in the beginning. I was going
to overcome that hump because you had a tremendous amount of pressure. A lot of people left the business, but you're still here and have been top in the country since then. Yeah,
we were doing. It was like 7 days back then. Yeah, pretty much.
What is some of the characteristics that you would say, or I guess knowledge that you need to know to really do well with the REO?
You have to know. You have to forget everything about residential retail because it's not the same. And you have a corporate client that has. They're managing. Yeah, like anything else. I always try to know what the other side is. Like when I'm dealing with anything, what are they trying to get out of this relationship? You have to know that, or otherwise,
what's their goal?
Yeah, what are they? Right, exactly. What are they looking for? So, and you got to know what they're doing and what their job is to know what their goal is. Right. So, he's if I have a bank client on the other end, he's managing 1,500 properties all over this country. He don't know Jersey laws. He doesn't know. What the market's like here, how busy it is. He doesn't know the property. He can't go and see it. So he also doesn't want to hear from me explaining what I know about Jersey real estate. How he needs this septic thing done. He needs this done this way because my broker wants to. He wants to get. He doesn't want to be on the phone at all. He wants a couple email contacts. He just wants it handled.
Yeah.
That's how those. So if you know that about the person you're dealing with, I think I was able to pick up on that pretty quick when I was dealing with bank clients. They liked me right away because I knew when I had a problem, I just fixed it. And I'd have to go back to them with stuff, but I'd have a solution. This is where we're at. This is the issue. This is why it's a problem. This is how we're going to fix it. This is why it's not. This is why it's the best way to go. You can do it. Yes.
Don't go to busy people without the solution already.
Right, and they don't. Right, exactly. Up front, and you have to. You have to be able to communicate quickly, directly. And know that they don't want any, crap on the other end. They don't want to hear about your kid's soccer game on Sunday because you couldn't get this done or something like that. Just get it done and make sure that you can make them look good to their boss. They get their stuff. They want the values right. So when they ask me my opinion of value, I better not say property's worth 100 and then it sells for 125 in 2 days. That's like a no-no. So you got to be. It should sell for about 95 in about a month and a half. If you do that right all the time, then you'll make them happy.
So how do you do that right? You study the market, you study comps, you put a lot of time?
Yes, all day long. So we see, all day long. And just from experience and knowing. Like I can tell you pretty much anything else. I can pinpoint the value probably better than
Wow.
Then I think I'll
Well, the
probably
stats would probably agree with you.
Well,
Number one.
I just looked at stats the other day. I was pretty
Number one in
impressed
units,
with
always.
my value though. My
I'll brag
ratio
for you.
My BPO to value ratio to sale ratio over the last 5 years is like 98%. Like I mean that's how close I like.
Wait, what does BPO stand for? For people that don't
broker
watch
price opinion. It's like a comparative market analysis. It's basically
Wow.
that, but that's what the banks. That's their.
For the banks,
Yeah.
that's their CMA.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
Yes, yeah, it's
98%.
I don't know why I need 2 acronyms, but
Yeah.
Acronyms are fun. It's
so it's like
The
98%.
BPO is a little bit more involved than a CMA, I guess.
other factors
Yeah.
that have to do with it.
Yeah, it's their report. Basically, it just tells them about the property, what the values are, what the comps are, and we nail that really. So if to be successful in that business, that has to be on point. Your valuations have to be on point. You have to be able to get things done quickly, accurately, and and also you still have to work with other agents that are always pissed off because they don't understand because, like, say I get a property on Friday.
Yeah.
The agent will send me an offer 5 minutes later. But my bank's guy's not there Friday, and they're not in a hurry to do anything. So, what happens on the weekend? 75 other offers come in. And then so bank guy gets it on Monday. He could counters one of them. Then they say ask for highest and best. It's really like Wednesday, and it's the agent's just angry. But there's nothing I can do about it. It just is what it
It's
is.
a
It's a
client.
different culture, completely different mindset.
So it's tough to do retail and that because you don't want to make the other agents upset or angry. You got to do what you got to do. And my loyalty first has to be to the banks. They have that, and it's in their contract. Like you work for them. Even in a dual agent situation, you're really not. You're not representing a buyer. You're just representing the seller and the buyer. You're helping them with the transaction, but that's it.
Wow. So you're. It sounds like to do that successfully, you have to really have a tremendous understanding of the market. Now that would be, just from a layman in that regard, transferable to the residential as well.
Yeah, it is. It's working. So when you are, we do residential as well, and we're doing more now than we were before because REO it has been, a lot of this inventory that we've been selling has been that stuff from 2008, 9, 10. It just took that long to go through the system. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So, there's more. As long as you have your systems in place, you've been doing it a while. You can do both, but it is a little harder than. Trying to start that from the beginning. Like I couldn't have done it. No, when we were doing retail, on a high end before, we got into REO. Knowing that, I couldn't have done both at the
It's
same
very
time.
overwhelming if you're trying to do both because of, of everything that has to be done, and especially if you're working with different banks, they all want different things at different times. So
It's like a business within a business.
Yeah, exactly.
So would you say focus is an integral part of how you built your company?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and focusing on what my bank seller needed, again, which is a totally different needs than a regular home seller. So everything you learned in real estate before that, it's
out the window.
It was like starting over. So before that, you were in the beginning of the business, extending yourself to be available for buyers and marketing like you were when you had the grocery store, which is a different mindset than the traditional agent that just comes in for maybe a job that's thinking, because like the marketing branding mindset is what attracted you guys together in the first place. Like he's everywhere.
Yep.
You studied PR. You're everywhere. You have take that grocery mindset of like marketing and advertising, which isn't really traditional
I had
with real estate.
4 listings
agents.
that looked like I had 40,000 at the time because I was just advertised big. I advertised like crazy, in the beginning.
So that advertising like crazy built did that have a big, I guess, effect on your business in that first 3 years?
100%.
Like, how long did it take you to really get a market share? Right, because you advertise for all of us. We advertise first. Mm-hmm. We believe we can solve a problem. Others may not believe us yet. We advertise first, and then the opportunities come, and you either make it happen or you don't.
Right.
So, like, how long did that take? Did it take a couple of years to really get your business stable like that?
I came on as a team member. Like I said at the beginning of the year, I went on my own at Remax in September, and I made it.
So less than that.
Yeah, I made Platinum Club the following year for my first full year.
And Platinum Club is a certain amount of units sold, like
250 in gross commission.
200. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So within 2 years, you're doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, way more than I ever thought.
You ever thought?
Yeah, my goal was to do like 75 or 80.
And you just
Yeah, I did that I did more than that my first year.
Here's a book. The first 2 years. That's the book. There you go. Let's write it. But that's great. Okay, so now then, 3 years in the business, you're continually growing that. Did you start transitioning to like a listing, more so a listing agent around that first 4 years?
Yeah, because the advertising would bring in. So it was funny. So like all the big agents around weren't running these ads. They weren't buying these little pieces. But I was like, they thought I was crazy. I was buying, spend $1,000 on ads. But I'm like, all right, well, if I get one commission out of it, I would get like 5 or 6. But if I got one, it was like a $3,000. So pay $1,000 to get $3,000. It's a 300%.
You thought
increase.
Like a businessman.
Yeah, it made sense. So I was like, I ran the heck out of them. So, and when all the sellers, when it did start to slow down a little bit, the sellers would, what was their biggest complaint all the time when their house didn't sell? The agent didn't run any ads for my house. They didn't do it. They didn't run any ads. They would see, so they constantly saw it was like billboard, and all the magazines, all the newspapers. So they would call me, and I would list a house, and I would get listings from. I became a listing agent from my ads being out there to attract buyers.
So people call and say, "Sell my house."
Yeah, right. Yeah, or they want to buy one of the ones I have listed, so I'd sell their house, and we would get. We had certain people. Like I said, certain clients, and because of the way Remax works and the leads that you get direct on your own calls, I would get, a guy would call, buy this property to fix it up and resell it. He'd buy that, I get both commissions because it was my listing. I'd sell that one. I'd get a buyer off of that, sell their house, I have spider webs with one call led to this, and that's what that.
So let's say someone calls you. What's your thought process and how you solve that problem or how you make that happen? Because some people could get a phone call and then instead of a web, they just have zilch.
Oh, well, because I do believe this 1,000,000%. I mean, I know people build a business now with more like a website, and leads and stuff online and web leads. To me, a phone call is 1,000 times more powerful because nowadays people don't want to talk to anybody.
So you like the phone?
Yeah, I push them to call me. If people, a lot of times they'll email me a list of questions, hey, give me a call anytime. Because if they don't want to make that call, they ain't that serious. If they make the call, in this climate where people don't want to talk, like, we don't order pizza. We're like, which app can we use? We don't even want to call the pizza place right now.
Well, that's online ordering.
But that's right. We'll order from a different place.
Definitely.
Yeah, nobody, right. So, like, yeah, but so when people call you now, it's much a serious sale. So
wow.
Yeah, so you get a better chance, and then they can get to know you too. I'm pretty good at like reading people inside, so I know like I don't have to sit there and go through my list of stuff. Like I don't have a script of you're pre-approved or you're pre-qualified. Because I'm calling about this house and this address, and he knows the area, he knows the house, he's been looking, he's been online, he's done all that, he's made the call that he doesn't want to make to a salesperson.
You get that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's like a feeling.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
and you can just build. I feel you just build a better connection with people on the phone than I can. We still use the internet. We still use emails back and forth and stuff. But
were you ever afraid of the phone?
No.
Like there was a point where I hid in the bathroom. They thought I had a bowel disorder.
Oh.
I didn't want to make the call.
I won't cold call. Okay. That I don't do.
You're converting by just...
Yeah, they call me.
Okay, so you had advertised out to create awareness.
Yeah.
The people that called, that didn't just email or whatever, you saw that as more serious.
Right.
And then you immediately know, like almost a flash of numbers, like Einstein, and you're like, is this person saying... No, immediately you just figure out, where are they at?
I know.
Your experience
well, first
in the
I know
business.
if I like them or not right away.
Yeah.
And then that'll dictate.
Is that
my conversation.
tonality too? You think?
I
Certain
think so.
questions
I
that
think
people ask?
it's that tonality and certain. Yeah, exactly. Like they're mad that they called because they didn't want to call, but they want the place. So I can see if I can figure out if I like them or not. I don't like because if I don't like them, that's not gonna work.
They called for the pizza, but they're on a diet. They don't really want the pizza.
Yeah, or if the wife's calling for the husband, that means he don't want to talk to nobody. She's not happy to call. It's never a good time either. You know what I mean?
This is amazing.
Yeah.
We just said
So
that.
you just gotta, right away.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
So you figure out basically if you're wasting your time or not because you can't help someone
Yeah.
if they're not willing to be helped.
And we're good at that too. I'll brag about that. We're very good at not
Yes.
wasting our time.
Yes.
Like if I take a buyer, I'm usually selling something. If they don't, it's rare that I'll take them out and I don't get an offer first time.
So when your process of when you're with a buyer, for example, what are some of the key factors in making sure that you know what they're looking for?
Just usually I can hit it off from on the phone. I know the neighborhood, know the areas from doing the units, from doing things. I mean, rarely. This guy called me yesterday. Remember, an agent called me from down the shore. I haven't talked to. Out of the blue.
Oh, yeah.
Just asked. He's like, I'm having a problem with this house. This agent. He's like, I don't know. They're from up here. He's a shore agent.
Okay.
Two different worlds.
Yeah, two different.
And he's just like, I don't know, what should I do? I put an offer in, and they're not getting back to me, blah, blah, blah. I talked to him in 2 seconds. I knew the house he was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, one. I didn't guess 2 or 3. One for one. I knew the house, knew the price, knew the thing, the whole thing. So just from being around and seeing the inventory, because again, we're running comps all day for banks, so I know pretty much every area right off the top of my head. When somebody says where they want to be, a lot of times, I'd say most time people call, they're not buying exactly what they want on phone calls. So
they may not know what they want specifically?
They know what they want, but some of it, they think they, So they want, so they'll say, I want to be in Washington Township at 200 and this, that. They're coming from Philly. All right. They're calling now because they've been on the internet 50 times. They've learned there's the house that they want for 200 doesn't exist in Washington Township. Well, why do you want to be in Washington Township? Well, I was a kid, it's time to move out of the city. I just want to, I want to be in the suburbs. I don't want to be in the city. I want a yard for my kids to play in, blah, blah, blah. And I always wanted to move to South Jersey. Okay, well, South Jersey, now we have a bigger place. I can move them to Blackwood, Williamstown. Well, let me ask you, if I brought you somewhere close, I like Washington Township, I like the area, I like the stores. All right, well, what about the towns outside where I can find your house for $200,000? Is that something you'd be interested in? Oh yeah, definitely. I don't have to be in Washington. It's like, it's like no. I just like, but they said that to the agent. The other agent would just look, at that town. They won't even consider going to the towns outside.
So digging deeper with questions and actually asking and listening. Yeah. To what they may not even be aware of that they said.
Now, if they say, "Hey, I want to be in there because my kids went to school there. I want to go to school there," that's different. Then they had to be in that town, and you try to figure out what's there. But usually, if they're calling you, they did go online. They've been looking for a while, and they can't get what they want in that price. That happens. And some people just, it's like, "Hey, I want to be in Avalon for $300,000." Well, it's not there. You can go on a computer for the rest of your life. You're not going to find it.
So maybe, do you see that if let's say a realtor doesn't go deeper because maybe they just don't, right? We can get into the whys later, and then they look only in that township, they could be 50 houses in of showing them different houses before they finally figure out they could have went to Blackwood.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But you don't do that. Yeah. You save people time and get them in the home that they want because you'll take that extra time.
Yeah.
To figure out what they're actually open to.
Right.
And then what do you do after that? You put in the search, like the MLS search, come up with the...
I look up stuff for them. I ask them what they're looking for, and I'll email them a couple things. They get back and say, oh, God, I love this one, this, and that. And then they'll expand on their own. Mm-hmm. And they'll bring me stuff that they found. I'm like, oh, my God, we like this area better. And then they're happy.
So, you educate them so that in this way that they can actually figure that out, and then you can go back to doing the business you're doing and make sure they get the home.
Yeah, and then they're usually really happy because they're like, no one ever asked us that before. Nobody ever,
Wow.
It's funny. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And then we hit it off, and then they we usually go out 1 or 2 times with someone else.
When it comes to selling a home, it's different than buying. So, what's your process when it comes to selling? I mean, obviously, if you spend so much time, and I want to ask about that too, looking at the market because of REO and that kind of knowledge, what is that process for selling a house? What are some of the most important things people need to know that are maybe myth understandings or misunderstandings?
When they're selling?
Yeah.
You mean agents?
Let's say
somebody's listing their house and they're selling.
Yeah.
All right, so same thing again. Sometimes people think they got to get this for this house. They got to get this much for their house, and they have a number based in their head because this is what my loan is, and this is how much I need, and I need to. It's like, well, it doesn't work like that. It's not based on how much money you need to sell the house. House is worth this. That's it. And why do you need that? Well, I need to put $100,000 down. I can't have a mortgage over $200 in a place I want is $325. Well, what if I find a place for $300? Do you still need $300 for your house, or can I get you $275 there and get you this one $25 cheaper? And again, just trying to bridge the gap, find out what the problem is, what they want,
figure out what their goal is,
what they're trying to do. Right, exactly. Trying to figure out what their goal is, what they want, and then you can, tell them, exactly, listen, I realize you want that, you need that. If you need that for this reason, it's not going to work. And I could, we could put it up and play the game. And I'll be honest, I'm just waiting for you to wear down. I'm waiting for your wife to want the house more than you and pressure you into taking the lower price later.
So you just tell the truth.
I just tell them, exactly. So, we're going to get here eventually if you want to sell it. If you're not going to do it at this, then let's just part ways. It's not going to happen. But if I take it at this number, I'm just I'm just going to wait for you to wear it down and lower the price because you'll do that. You'll definitely do that because she's going to be picking out furniture tomorrow. And she'll be there and she'll laugh.
This is why I love you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because it's on a macro level, even like in general.
No, notice till I got in the house, I'll see like the Rainbow Flag, I get the catalog out. So, she's going in there as soon as I leave tonight.
It's a hard question to ask because so many people may not be confident enough to be completely transparent with people. I can speak for myself as a young adolescent in the gym business at the beginning. Like I was trained and like, don't say this on the contract on the bottom. And then it took me years of maturation to be like, everyone needs to know everything on a contract always. Like, so, yeah. Did you learn that over time? Like to be as transparent and not.
In the karate business, I did because you're selling contracts, and we were in the city in an area that wasn't there wasn't a lot of money. It was a working class neighborhood, and we're selling contracts. You're not leaving with a shirt that day when you buy it. Yeah. You're signing something and writing a check, and on the belief that your kid's going to like karate and stay in it. So we had to sell, and it wasn't cheap. We had to sell, to people that, in an area where they have, limited expendable income, make it valuable, and then convince them to stay. Convince the kids to work, because sometimes summer comes, the kids they want to be out with their friends in the pool. They don't want to go to karate. It's hard to sell in those environments. I worked with a bunch of guys. We're all in our 20s. Black belts. We're all, ball breakers for lack of better terms. We beat each other up a little bit, and just so you learned a lot in that. So I think that's where like the confidence came from in selling. Because just and here I'm selling a house. They love the house. They're happy. It's easy. I don't sell them the house. I don't go, hey, here's the kitchen. Look at the cabinets. Look at that. They open. Oh my God, look at the crap. People know the house. They walk in the door. They know what they want it.
So it's funny because it brings me back.
Not getting away. You just got to not getting away.
I was in a similar environment where originally it wasn't a healthy environment ethically, and then I had a mentor that guided me through to like really be a better person, I guess you could say, when it came to stuff like that. So was the karate, like that karate culture, more positive or like disciplined and authentic? I would think like martial arts has a lot of.
Yeah, but it was progressive. So martial arts is the traditional form of martial arts is very disciplined, very strong. If you love it, it's phenomenal. Problem is there's so much you can get out of it, right? There's so much to deliver in it, but your kid's not going to sit there in class get beat with a rattan stick and want to come back on Tuesday, right? Like it's not going to happen. Yeah. Like even though that in the end would be great for them, right? So there's somewhere between that and making them want to come and making it fun, making them like it, So we kind of, over the years, the curriculum got, and Bruce Lee actually, I don't know how you say that, brought a lot of that to the States. He made it popular to the movies, things like that, so people liked it, right? Yeah. So and then him and. Actually, Ed Parker, who was, I don't know, I can go on this for 2 days. But so he came to America, the guy that brought him to America and made him popular was actually the grandmaster of the style that I did, Chinese Kempo. And he taught my instructor, Dennis Toast, who's still around. These schools, American schools are around. They do phenomenal. They had changed the curriculum over time to make it a little easier to learn, a little more fun, so they could have it in schools because it's still, it's a great product. It's great for kids to get into, but if the kids don't come because it's too traditional, too hard, then you're not helping anybody.
What were some of the values that you learned from that?
Just the work ethic. It's hard. The work ethic. It's hard, especially when you get up in the higher ranks. It's harder to do it every day. It's harder when you're working all day, come home and go to class and finish it. And I'm fighting through obstacles and teach a lot of that stuff. And then when I owned the school, learning how to do that at a young age. So that's where I got, and it does give you confidence.
Do you believe that work ethic and then owning that business prepared you for real estate?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, definitely. And I actually learned selling skills. So I would listen to like the Zig Ziglar stuff and Anthony Robbins, and when I was in it because I was selling, I had to learn how to sell. So that training in there and is what helped me be good at it here.
Wow.
And now I'm actually selling a home. So I go into a house, they already like it. They saw it online. They saw the pictures. She loves it. He loves her. She's I walk in, open the door. They want the place, and all I got to do is not kill it. You know what I mean? So now it's easy. Before, I'm not selling a contract to somebody with limited, hey, here's an expensive product that you can't see, feel, touch, or anything. Sign it, buy it. So.
And you'll get beat with this thing.
Yeah. Eventually,
but everything will work out.
But it actually was cool to tell the neighborhood, the kids was bad in school or something like that. It's like, I bring them in, and we let the other black kids beat on them a little bit. And that's what they did. That's it.
Well, people grow forever from that adversity.
Yeah, I have friends, still from, it's 30 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Mm-hmm. So, in the capacity of real estate, what do you think is the number one important character trait of a realtor in respect to selling, building their business, serving the customer? Is there even one? I mean, were there a couple that all these years of experience you've been? I
would say, like I said, listening to what they really want. Pay attention to what they want, the details of what they want, not the broad scope of what they tell you. Because sometimes, again, people don't, sometimes, it can be difficult. Wife wants something, husband wants something different. And he don't know how to tell her that. I can always tell her whenever I get an email from his wife CC'd on the thing, or his wife's for her said, we always know that's going to be a problem transaction. Wow. And she'll say, I only want this area, and he'd be like, yeah, she don't want it, but you know what? Show her a couple. She might like them. Then I want to go show her, and then she wants to slit my throat because she thinks I'm stupid because I'm showing her what she told me she didn't want, but he didn't tell her. They don't communicate together.
Do you find yourselves counseling a lot?
All the time.
Oh.
Because seriously, I learn a lot about relationships from you guys just hanging out with you.
Yeah, we counsel. Yeah, a lot of times we end up in that.
You're in a relationship for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's a month and a half, 2 months.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
This is America. I think it's phenomenal. It's like a cultural lesson. What do you think is the number? Are there three pieces of advice that you can give to couples in general, and then something in business?
I don't know if I'm enough of an expert to give advice on couples, but I'd say what works for us. I think working in business together, where a lot of people say, how do you do it all the time? How do you do it? I think it's easy. For us anyways, because we understand each other all the time. We always have the same problems. We're working on the same problems together. We're fixing them together. We have solutions together. I can count on her. She can count on me. It's not like working with somebody that's not. She has 100% vested interest in everything working out for both of us. I'm the same thing. So we work on things together. Our life's better, and we're happier. I'm not out here, one day and then, my deal falls apart because the mortgage didn't go through and this didn't happen, home inspection, this, and she's out spending money and buying, she says, I love this new couch. And you go home and you're like, I'm not buying any couches. You told me you wanted a couch. And then you're like, and they don't understand. Sometimes, people, I see it with people that I know that they don't understand, if not in this business, the stress of that can be on a relationship. Like if you're just in two different places, this business can be, sometimes you can walk in one day, and I've been doing 18 years. Yeah. I've been in one day, it's over. Oh my God, 3 days of phone, it's done, it's going back, it's 2008 again, it's gonna be, because you just watch on the news for 5 minutes, hear a bad story.
Negative stories.
Bad call, one deal dies, and you're just like, should I look at the classifieds? Should I look for another? You get, and then, next day, the phone rings 27 times, and you're blowing up, and then, but it's like that sometimes. So I couldn't imagine, it's trying to, and, I'll say I was married before. And I had that other side. That's what I dealt with. It was totally different. So I know I appreciate this working relationship so much more because, I can appreciate that element of why it's easier to work together. And, I'm sure a lot of it's us too. We just can't hit it off great. And so if I was going to give any relationship advice, just appreciate what you have. Appreciate what you have with somebody. There's a million reasons you're with somebody. One or two things may annoy you or whatever that, but I'd say that's probably the advice I would give people. If you appreciate what you have, something that's it. And I do appreciate everything I do have with her. And I let her know. Every day. Yep.
I'm getting married. So, when it comes to communication with the clients and in a relationship, in business relationship in general, would you say there's crossover, like ways to communicate and ways not to?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it depends. You got and so your tonality, so you don't know who you're dealing with. If you're talking to somebody soft-spoken, that's kind of quiet and kind of like you don't want to go at them and be all jacked up and salesy and stuff like that. turn them right off. You gotta kind of, you feel people out, try to get on their level. That's it's like a habit, really. That's what, I'd say communication. You have to know how to communicate with whoever you're dealing with. I think what they want, how they
empathy.
Want. Yeah. You got to put yourself in their shoes. What are they looking for?
Can you teach empathy? You think? I mean, it's just subjective, but
no. I think if you just wait a minute. I don't think it can't be fake. I don't think if you're not really empathetic, it's not gonna.
Well, it's interesting because like I am a curious person. I think that's like my
I am
personal.
Too. Yeah.
Like that's why I do this. This is fun.
Yeah.
To learn.
And I'm the same way. I might try somebody else because I'll ask them a million questions about stuff because this is how I am. But yeah, she does.
Not all the time, but.
I think that's there's something there when it comes to they genuinely want. So maybe that has to do with empathy, because it's coming from the right place, and then you just figure out what people need.
Right.
And then you've been together now in the business for 11 years.
12.
12 years. Just about every day studying the market to the point where you could call out houses and know the prices, and other realtors are calling you and asking for your advice.
I'm going to call on the phone. I'll be talking to the person. And she's looking at. She knows that, and we're so in sync from here all day. She's pulling up on her email the house that we got. Like she goes, I'll be like, I'll look at her. She's like, boom, yeah.
Well, it's exponential. It's like
I hear like active
super,
4-bedroom.
Yeah,
like, I know that house. There's like a million.
She hands me her phone. I got it. Yeah, it's $299. Boom, yeah, that's it.
Well, it's extremely rare because it's like exponential, really. I mean, 2 is better than 1. And I feel just observing you guys and getting to know both of you, how well you work together and communicate with each other. It's like it's one person is really gonna get crushed, like they try to go against 2. It's just like you're just gonna lose, man. It's just inspiring. Yeah, it's cool.
I buy that.
And would you attribute that to the fact that you have been wildly successful, number one, units sold for years and years, and that communication has that been a big piece of that?
Yeah, it's definitely a help. Because again, she's 100% vet, so it's like having, and she's tremendous at sales herself. I always laugh because I get these. If she goes and gets when she wants to sell, she really helps me sell more than anything. But when sometimes stuff falls on her lap that I never get, she'll get a $500,000 listing, 6% price right. And so I always got a story with I always got something like a train run through the backyard and stuff. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. She gets nice stuff like that. So she's tremendously talented. So I'm working with someone there that I couldn't. She could do everything I can do. Everything on the same level. So it is like getting 2 for 1. It's awesome. It makes it fun too. It makes it fun when challenges come up. What was the last thing we even got? I don't even get my eyebrows don't raise or anything anymore. I don't care if they'll fall apart. We don't care. We handle challenges like nothing. We like them. Yeah. We laugh. Maybe an extra glass of wine or something. But
you guys love what you do?
Yeah, we do. We do.
What do you see as the coming to the real estate industry, 2020, 21, 20? What do you think the future holds?
It's going to change. I mean, I see it changing a lot. I think it's going to turn into there's just going to be listing agents. There's not going to be any buyer's agents anymore. This MLS thing is going away. I think that's what I say. You see, sites like Zillow. They're hiring photographers now to be like a preferred photographer for them. So the agents go in. Yeah, and agents are like, it puts your listings at the top of their search. And I was like, they're just, what do you think is going to happen? Now they got the photos. Now they got the inventory. They got what do they need a buyer's agent for? You just go right to their site. So, a seller's going to go on there for probably, I bet it's eventually not even going to be a percentage business. It doesn't have to be, and probably, if I look big picture, and if I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm saying this because this is my industry, but it doesn't have to be a percentage business. It could be a fee business. It could be done that way, and I think they figured that out. These big website companies, and that's probably where it's going to go. And if it broad, it probably should, in reality, because I don't think that. I can't believe I'm saying this again. I don't think the value's there. like for 6% on listing anymore. People aren't, you're not doing as much. You're not, I mean, you're doing a lot of work and a lot of different things. I think you still need an agent involved because you're dealing with emotional people and you're dealing with situations. But I don't know if you need to get $45,000 to sell a house. It's the same amount of work to sell a $100,000 house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our industry now, they screwed up by doing this broker reciprocity years ago. They caused that problem that they can't unwind. And I think that's going to be down the road. It's going to change our industry that way. There'll be less, and there'll be probably less agents. I think because it's not going to be as lucrative, or you can just jump in and sell 2 to 3 friends' houses and jump out and go on referral. Which is like it's gotten that way. And because all the systems and all the the electronic signing and the CRM and all that stuff, it's made it where it's much more it's just much more automated. So I think that eventually you're going to see the fees come down. And they like I said, they probably could in certain. Again, you'll probably see a lot of flat fee stuff. A certain amount.
We're seeing it with brokerages doing this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because
they're getting rebates.
At the end of the day, a robot might not, and at least anytime soon, be able to make the calls that you make.
Right.
And I think that's a big lesson for me, listening and learning from you guys, being so successful in the business is like being able to have a conversation with someone and then actually hear what they're not saying.
Right.
Because you're empathetically listening.
Right.
How can you automate that? At least not until 2100 years, 2100.
You can't. Well, that's why you
can't
get, that's why I said I'm not gonna get rid of them all together. But I think you're gonna have people that
there'll be
manage them,
changes,
they'll have They'll
It'll be
reduce
more
the
difficult
fee.
to just kill it without skill.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, they're gonna. Well, I think you'll have less agents because people will drop out because the fees, the commissions will come down a little. But their job will be easier.
I had a full-blown conversation with a broker. It was like they were like, "Oh, we don't believe in 6% all." The whole company. So that's a culture shock. The whole company was like the owner. They were like, "Yeah, we don't believe it." So they've convinced themselves to not believe it in at all. Now, right, wrong. I mean, we could argue those platitudes all day long. Who cares? But that really did occur. So it's interesting that you said that, because I don't think you're the only one that thinks that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't want it to be that, obviously, but you can see, like you said, you see where things are going. You can just see, like these companies, I think it was Zoom. I think one of these companies got a couple $1 billion investment from Google. One of these auction sites. So when, Google's not a dumb company. They don't just throw billions around. They think it's changing too. And they probably could make it change if it wasn't. If it wasn't changing, you know what I mean? So it's you see. Sometimes you see it. Like I said, everything progresses over time. So it's a $100,000 house or a $6 million house. It's the exact same amount of work. It is labor-wise.
Yeah.
And actually probably less than the $6 million house because you're dealing with a more sophisticated seller who's not selling on emotion and like, oh, I raised my kids here, it's probably more work on the $100,000 house, but yet this is $300,000.
It's a different thought process on
that. Is it $300,000 to sell a house?
So I guess the question is who you have to become to think on that level where that's okay. Right. And you guys have, because of all the time and money and energy invested into learning the business, at least from me listening.
Yeah, you can just see that that's a thing in society people aren't going to do forever. I don't think they're going to keep paying $300,000 to sell their home when it's not. Back in the day when those fees were like that, you were hiring a guy to go out and just go find a buyer, and that guy had to go find a buyer. His network, his skill, his thing. That was what was making it happen. Now they're all on these sites.
The internet. It's all connected.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's hard to try to stand out. You stand out against other ones, the same thing, but again, is it $300,000 to do that?
Well, it's so crazy you're saying it because the reality is, it's true. And even this conversation where people can see into who your soul is, your heart, your empathy, your knowledge, that brings people to you. Mm-hmm. Whereas different in the past.
Right.
So it's like what we're doing now is just a conversation that will be valuable to people, that will listen to understand it to be better. They may work with you now versus someone else they just saw their face on a billboard that can't talk to them.
Right.
And be real with them. Right? At the end of the day, we're telling the truth. It may be right or wrong or whatever. It's the truth for where we're at. Now, for the first time in history, people can see that. And they could decide to work with you versus someone else that they just saw their face on the billboard.
Right.
So I think it's interesting because, like, I do believe that where it's going to go is the influence, positive, not negative, but positive, of individuals that are very good at their business. Like you guys are really good. You study to the point where you know everything everywhere. Well, but if you're hiding somewhere, no one can know that. But because of social media, everybody can know that.
Right.
But it takes a lot of
put yourself out
to
there.
get out there. I remember like
yeah.
the first 70 videos I did, it was like I was holding in a fart.
Yeah, it's got to be like that.
It was my face all wrinkled. It's difficult.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So okay. So my last question would be to you guys: if you were to go back to 2008, knowing what you know today,
something else.
This is the
But yeah,
the
we
moral of
got.
the
All
story.
right, no, you got it. I'll bite.
Everything that you've learned in the last 12, 30 years in the business, overcoming that tremendous adversity, what would the conversation you're going to have? You have each other in a room. Your mirrors 12 years ago. You guys get 2 minutes to talk to yourselves. What's the conversation look like? Lindsay, you go. What are you saying to yourself?
I don't know.
Like a lesson.
Yeah, well, I'd say that it's never.
Don't worry, it's going to get better. Don't stress so much. It will work out.
It's not. It's never as good as it seems. Never as bad as it seems.
Yes, it will work out. Like don't. There were times where all I would do would be stressed out just because something was new. It was new. Had never gone through this before. But something that we learned very early on in our relationship is that it always works out. You just gotta let it play.
Yeah. Just stay positive. You can't do. If you're negative and you're upset and you're annoyed and you're stressed, you can't do anything. On a high level, you just can't. You have to be positive, no matter what the situation is. Mm-hmm.
You gotta find the positive in
whatever situation there's always something good in every situation. There's something good, no matter what. When you have sometimes you always feel overwhelmed. You say, listen, there's people out there that have real problems that would kill to be in my position. So you encourage yourself that again, and you remember, and you keep on trucking. 2008, it was like the market, but like it was bad for everybody, and it wasn't going to stay like that forever. People weren't just going to stop living in houses. Yeah. So it was easy to sit there and say, all right, this is going to come around, and you have to, but it is changing. So what's changing in it? What's changing in the market? Where's it going to be?
You got to get ahead of the change. Yeah. Like that's something that we could say.
Now,
now
we see
change. We got to get ahead of the change.
You believe in that?
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Like Wayne Gretzky's quote, they asked him why he was so successful. He never skated to the puck; he skated to where the puck was going to be. You got to know where you're going. Like what's happening here? What's changing? How's this going to be different? And how am I going to change my business to make sure that I'm there? Next year. So like we were talking about earlier, there's going to be opportunities in that when this business does change. And everything changed through technology. So technology's made the world a lot more efficient. I think it's if you think it's going to sit here and people are going to pay 6% forever and and these sites are just going to go away. I don't care how many protests or boycotts and crap you do. It's not going to happen. You're not going
to change the future.
No.
Stop the future from happening.
No.
What do you? Okay, now one more. What do you say to your children? You have beautiful children. They're grown up in this world. Like, what do you think?
Oh, I'll tell you what, we're blessed. We have two really good, positive, happy kids. And I got, like everybody that gets a chance to.
I wonder where they got that.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. Because we have to work. We have to work on it. They don't.
Yeah.
We have to work on it. They don't. We have to try to be positive when you're not. There's good kids. Sometimes I turn around and look at it, like they'll say something like, "I said that. Really? Is that me or you?" We're very blessed that way. So it's my daughter's now, she's a teenager. She's 16. She'll be 17. And so she has her moments where she gets, she gets overwhelmed with school and stuff. She'll go on a rant about, she'll get negative. We got to, bring her back down to earth and just tell her, like, no, you can't look at it that way. You can't, one more year of high school, hang in there, who's stupid or that's
What's out to dinner, with everything's ending. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But she usually changes her tune.
Yeah. Come on.
And then our son, he's 7. He's just happy about everything.
Everything's perfect for him. He's always really happy. Just has a really good outlook on everything.
Do you think they'll be realtors?
Yeah, I think so. I think she will definitely.
She definitely will.
She's already starting to talk that she likes.
She already started talking about going to school next summer, getting it. So.
And she'll probably.
How do you feel?
She'll probably lap me. She'll probably do laps.
Oh God, she is such. We always thought she was going to be a lawyer. That's.
She's smart. She's really smart.
She's very smart.
I can imagine,
She's really.
both of you guys in one.
She could totally. I mean, and all she does is talk. Like, she hates to talk on the phone. Yeah. But she's in that technology world.
Like
that is her.
And she likes to help people too.
Yes, and
really
that's her. That's her generation. They're
Yeah.
all about the technology and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube. Like, I don't even know half of
iGen.
that.
I just got a book. I'll send it to you. It's about iGen.
Oh, okay.
It
Perfect.
might scare you, but I think it's good. It's
But
good. There's a silver lining.
She would be the agent for all of these
Yeah.
people of her generation.
Yeah.
So, and she's great at it.
Yeah,
She could sell ice to Eskimos.
She
She
can.
could.
And people love her, and she loves to help people. And her generation isn't thinking like that. So she will, like her friends and stuff. They ain't thinking about getting into real estate. It's not even close.
So she's really focused on her future.
Yeah, she'll be 18
you
probably.
guys
She said she's
working
gonna get a
together.
license.
She's upset with herself that she doesn't know what she wants to do. I was like, please
Nobody
do not.
does that age.
I'm like, no
Yeah.
one. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, she's like.
I think I was a security guard.
She's like really.
Nothing wrong with that.
She's just upset with herself because she just has no idea. She has all these things that she wants to do. She just can't narrow it down, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
We'll send her this as incriminating evidence. Guys, today was a real pleasure. I'm excited
it was
for
great.
more.
Thank you.
And I just got to say that I appreciate both of you. You inspired me for many reasons. And
us too.
I look forward to our continued friendship.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, Jay.
Your culture matters.
Yes.